Hi everyone, it's just Stuttering Tech back with another video after a little over 2 months of being absent from YouTube, and I came down with a little bit of a bug, and I've been out of action for a couple of weeks, and then even though I'm feeling great now, it's been very hard to produce videos, record these videos on a regular basis. I already have 2 full-time jobs, and so it's hard juggling all of this. I've said this before, my day starts very early and I'm working like so many hours, then I gotta come home and, deal with my second job, which is being a parent. Which I would love to be able to push out content as regularly as possible. It's not that easy. But with that being said, like I said, I'm gonna say what I say all the time. I'm gonna try and do these as often as possible. So what I have here today is the Maono PD200X. It's a USB and XLR podcast dynamic microphone. What's so great about this microphone is that it makes use of the MonoLink software, similar to the DM30, which I've previously done a review on. It also has Rgb lighting. On the side, you'll see we have anti-shot, anti-pop, USB-C, and XLR connectivity, 2-in-1 digital knob, programmable RGB, and 1 key mute. Let's see what we have for the features. Dynamic capsule, mic gain and headphone volume control, all metal body, built-in wind foam, powered by MonoLink, cardioid polar pattern, mute button, shock mount, programmable RGB light, compatible with PC, smartphone, and game console. Now, speaking about the MonoLink being compatible with your phone, when I did my review on the DM30, at that time the MonoLink software did not work with that microphone, even though it made that claim. And I found out, I haven't checked, but it seems like the Play Store version of the app hasn't been updated. So my suggestion would be to download the app directly from the Maono website. I will leave a link down in the description, and that seems to work with the DM. It worked, but it did work with the DM30, and you have all the same controls that you do have on the PC version of the software. So let's go ahead and let's unbox this, slide this out, and then I open here. There we go. And the thing with Maono is that they offer some pretty good equipment for the value, so like microphones. So I've only dealt with their microphone or their audio interfaces, and those seem to be work good. Some better than others, and even though the items, they're basically cheap, to be honest, they're not bad. They do work, and I still have my Maono interface, the audio interface, and I still have my microphones, and they still work pretty good. The only microphones that, in my opinion, don't work as well are they not good quality, especially when it comes to sound, is the ones that come with those audio interface. Those microphones usually are not very good. So basically, this is what we get inside of the box here. We have our manual. We get rid of this piece of foam. We have a adapter here. We get a USB-C, a pretty long USB-C, similar to what we get with the DM30. We have our shock mount, and then we have, which already comes with the mic attached to it. Well, we could just take that off. So it's screwed. It's really tight on here. They actually screwed it on tight. So they pretty much made this that it just stays on here. And we also, pretty good microphone. So, and even though they say it's metal, it's very lightweight metal. It's not heavy at all compared to something like my AT2040, which is a very heavy microphone. But yeah, it's pretty lightweight, but it is metal. It's very cold, and we have the Maono branding, which is upside down. So I guess you could just have it like this at an angle. So I guess, and let's look at the bottom here. We have our XLR. We have our XLR, USB-C. We have our LED light button, and we have our headphone jack. So you can monitor your audio as you speak into the microphone. And does this screw off? Oh yes, so this comes off. So it's kind of like, okay, this goes right on. You just take it off. So this is you know what this reminds me of? You know what inspired this this type of foam right here, this windscreen, this wind foam, remind me of another popular microphone. So yes, then we have our mute button, and like I said, everything is upside down. So assuming they made this so you could have it mounted like this on a mic arm or something like that. That way you just be upside down or facing you like this. So yeah, everything is just in an angle. So we have our mute, we have our and then we have our headphone volume, and I'm assuming this is also gain. So I'm assuming like the DM30, press it or hold it in for a couple of seconds to switch from microphone to headphone, and then do it again to switch back from one to the other. So let me go ahead and get this connected to a PC. Okay, so I've connected the PD200X to my computer, and I'm running the software on a Mac, but it's the same for Windows. When you first open up the application, this is how it's going to look by default. As you see, we have our standard and advanced. There's two tabs here, and then we also have settings. So settings, not much. Just shows you your connected hardware, the PD200X, the firmware version, and we have a factory reset, which basically resets the software. So in standard, this is your standard section, this is your advanced section over here, and we have our RGB section. So from on the standard section here, we have our mic. There's a mic button which mute and unmutes the microphone, and then we also see our microphone levels. We can see if we are clipping or anything like that. Here we have our gain, and then we have our headphone mic monitoring section. Now you could turn that on or off, and this is the on-off part is something that you cannot do from the microphone itself. You also have your headphone volume. So I'm going to increase and decrease the volume right on the microphone, and you'll see it in the software in real time. So as you can see, I can change the gain, the amount of gain, all the way up to 100% and back down to 70, which was the default. Around 72 is fine. And if I want to change the headphone volume, I just click in on the microphone, which turns this LED from green to blue, which basically lets you know that you're have control over the headphone. So I can just turn this up and down as I see fit, and it's happening in real time inside of the software. And same thing works with mute. I can mute and unmute, and I can also do it from the software. And it happens all in real time. I don't notice any kind of latency. As soon as I press that button, it's muted in the software as well. Yeah, so you basically have these controls right on the microphone itself. The only thing is you kind of turn the headphone monitoring off from the actual microphone. So here we have our tone section, and by default it's on original, and we can cycle through the different tones. So I'm going to switch over to the deep so you can hear how my voice sounds on deep. So now I have switched over to deep, and this is how my voice sounds with the deep tone turned on, and I think it brings up that low end, giving me more of a more bass in my voice. And now we're gonna go over to natural, and natural is one of my favorites, and it basically to what I hear in my headphone, I sound like myself. My voice sounds exactly the way it sounds in person, and so I like this one. Now let's go to legacy, and with legacy, it's kind of brings up, to me, it brings down that low end and that high end, and it's more of the mid tone, or more mid tone and some yeah, to me it's like it's bringing up the low and the mid tones. So, and I kind of like the legacy, but I'm more towards the deep and the natural. So let's put it back to natural, and then we have our RGB section here. Again, you can do this from the microphone, excepting you can turn it off and on but it's a one button thing. You have to keep pressing on that one button until you cycle through all the colors, and then it will turn off. But from the software, it's just very simple. Just press on the off button or on button. That's it. There's nothing to cycle through. You can just click on a color to change between them. And I'm gonna put it on my favorite. Basically, is the cycle. I do wish they had some sort of a speed control, but hey, what can we ask for? This microphone comes in at $79, but basically $80, and what more can you ask for? It's an affordable, it's a budget microphone that gives you features that makes it feel like it should be worth more than what they're asking for. So let's go over to the advanced section. As you can see, the standard section grayed out, but the RGB section is still, you can still change functions here. And the brightness, yeah. So one thing I forgot to mention, you cannot decrease or increase the brightness control of the LED from the microphone. It is something you can only do within the software. So put it back to where it was, around 70. That's fine. So in the advanced tab, as you can see, you have all the same functions when it comes to the muting the microphone, and you monitoring your levels, making sure you don't clip, and the gain, headphone monitoring, all of that. But instead of a tone section, you now end up with the EQ, and you have your limiter and your compressor. So by default, you're on flat, and you can easily just switch over to high pass filter. So this is how I'm sung in on with the high pass filter on, and this is one of my favorite ones. It just basically brings down that low end, and it just brings down the low end, and so you have basically it's good for getting rid of that background noise. Or you banging on the table, something like that. It will kind of take the thump out of your recording. And then we also have our presence boost, which brings down the high end and the low end, and well, it keeps it flat and then raises up the mid tone. So you see the curve right here. So basically, all this is basically showing you the EQ curve. And then over here we have our high pass filter and presence boost. So that drops the low end and keeps the high end flat and brings up the mid tone. So yeah, the high pass filter and the high pass filter and presence boost are my favorite ones, and yeah, really like that. So here on the limiter section, this is it. If you're somebody that talks aloud and you don't want to have your audio clip, you can just turn on your limiter. And I would say for I like to keep mine at like a minus 12 decibels. That's my sweet spot here, because there is sometimes I do notice that I'm going all the way in the red. Now you can prevent it by bringing down the gain, but I like to keep my audio at a certain level, so I like to just bring that down just in case. So a negative 12 decibels. For the compressor now, this is also good to keep down out that background noise, but if you take it too far, your audio will become choppy. And I usually keep this at in minus 20 decibels. Mostly, yeah, this is a sweet spot for my voice. So you have to play with it to get it for your voice. Because usually when I keep going too high, my voice just becomes choppy or it phases out. So I like I said, and for my voice, I find my sweet spot to be around a minus 20 decibels. Now, one thing I want to talk about is the great thing about this microphone, being that it has XLR and USB. You can use them both at the same time. So right now, I'm actually recording the audio into my camera, and I actually forgot to turn this thing on, but yes, let's turn it on right now. So right now I've done a review on this device here, and this is let's bring it up to the camera so we can see this much better. So this is the LINKFlEX. Let's bring it up to this camera. So this is the LINKFlEX AD2. And this is from Comica, and this is a device that basically allows you to connect different XLR microphones to your camera, your computer, or even your smartphone. And it's a great piece of technology. And I actually fell in love with this thing after coming across it on Amazon, and I just went ahead and purchased it. And it's the best purchase that I've made in all of 2022. And yeah, I really love that device. So right now, you're listening to the audio from from the microphone going directly into my camera, and that is just awesome to where I can simultaneously record. You can like basically have one as a backup just in case something goes wrong with your camera recording, and so you would have a backup somewhere else, and it's just awesome. Now I do want to note when you are manipulating things within the software, as far as the audio, the different tones and the different EQs, it doesn't affect anything in the recording. So the recording that's going into your camera from the XLR, basically, it doesn't affect anything from the on the XLR side. So if I mute the microphone, I don't believe that it mutes in the on the XLR side. It only mutes in the USB side. So if I press mute right now and I'm still talking, I can't hear anything in my headphone, and in the software there's nothing showing up there. But on my camera, it's still recording my audio. So it doesn't actually stop anything from recording on the XLR side. It doesn't stop the audio signal on the XLR side. So overall, I think that the PD200X is a very good microphone. Yes, it's not the best quality. It's not like something like the dynamic microphone like I have here. This is one of my favorite ones. It's the Audio-Technica AT2040, and yeah, this is a very heavy microphone compared to that. You can tell the difference in the quality of the metal, and the build of this microphone is just the quality is way out there, way past. But the software makes up for what this has lacking in build quality. What you get in the software is just mind blowing. And I've used this microphone, the AT2040, with my camera, but I did do some testing, and I kind of like I'm kind of mixed feelings here. I do love my AT2040, but I think this one actually takes out more background noise because I do hear my fan, the fan from my key light that I have right here. It's kind of audible. I can hear it. If I take these headphones off, I can hear it, but when I listen back to my recording through this microphone, I don't hear it at all. But I do hear it with the AT2040. When I record using this, I have to use some noise reduction to actually get rid of that fine noise. And if I increase if I increase my the volume, put some gain, raise that up a little bit to make it a bit louder, that noise comes through more. So I have to do noise reduction, and this microphone, I don't hear that fan at all. So even though the price difference is there, this microphone, yeah, it's like I said, it's worth. I think it's worth more than what they are charging it for with the addition of the software, and even through the recording on the camera, just default, no software, manipulation with the XLR. I still cannot hear that fan noise. So yeah, even with the compressor and all that on, it just works perfectly. And yeah, I will leave a link in the description in case you are interested in this microphone. And I also have leave a link for the Comica LINKFlEX AD2. So that's it for this video. Until next time, please like, share, subscribe, and peace out.